Once upon a time, in the village of Kokowa, lived a very young woman named Amina. Amina was a very lively woman who had a smile for everyone and never hated. She was married to a vibrant man named Kofi, and their life seemed so perfect to the villagers that their commitment to one another was on the lips of everyone in the village. Amina was a dedicated wife, always making sure their home was filled with love and warmth. She also sells fish at the village market to support her husband, Kofi, whom she loved so much. Kofi was all Amina had. She had lost her family some years back to an unexplainable fire that burnt their family hut with them inside of it, leaving her the sole heir to acres of land. After the burial, Kofi, her husband, insisted they sell all the lands, which was worth millions of carries, stating that it will ensure they didn't have to work in their life again. But Amina refused. She told Kofi that the land was a family heritage and lots of people were depending on the land for survival. This made Kofi very angry, but as time went on, he seems to have come to terms with Amina's decision and life went on as normal. One evening, after a very long day at the market, Amina felt ill. She had been feeling pains and fatigue all over her body for some days now, so she decided to visit the village healer, Nana Ama, who, after checking her, revealed devastating news. "My child," Nana Ama said gently, "your health is in grave danger. You have a serious illness, and there is little time left." Amina was so struck with fear and sadness that she asked immediately, "What do you mean, Nana? It means you are sick very badly, and with what I am saying, you have little time left." "But how?" cried Amina, grasping Nana Ama's hand. "I don't know," Nana replied, "but I can buy you time. It will be painful, the method and herbs I will use, but that is all I can do for you. I am sorry, my child. I am so sorry." Feeling so confused and heartbroken, Amina decided to confide in the one person that she loves apart from her husband, her best friend, Zuri, before telling her husband, Kofi. With tears in her eyes, Amina hastened a step towards Zuri's hut. On getting there, she pushed it open without knocking, and as her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she found Zuri with Kofi in a compromising position. Amina froze from shock as Kofi and Zuri struggled to adjust themselves. "How could you, Zuri?" Amina cried out, tears streaming down her face. "And you, Kofi, my husband?" Kofi and Zuri looked at her with cold eyes. Kofi sneered, "You were always too naive. Zuri and I have been together for a long time. We are just waiting for you to be out of the picture." "What do you mean?" Amina asked, her heart breaking into 1,000 pieces. "Well, you will soon die. I have been putting poison inside your early morning tea." Kofi said, hatred all over his face. "But why?" Amina asked, her own words slurring. Why not? Kofi fired back. You are sitting on millions of carries that will change our lives forever, but you insist on slaving away like a dog. I confided in Zuri, and as a real woman, she gave me a good solution. With you out of the way, we would remarry and all your words would be ours. We were hoping you would die slowly, he continued, from the poison. But seeing as you are here now, we have no choice but to kill you or you will expose us. Amina took a step back, sensing that she was in real trouble. She fled into the night, but not far enough. Kofi and Zuri followed her into the dark night, their intentions clear. In a struggle, Amina was fatally injured. Her last sight was of Kofi and Zuri standing over her dead body, whispering about the inheritance and wealth they would soon enjoy. In the rim between life and death, Amina's spirit floated in a haze. She heard a voice, deep and ancient, calling her name. Amina, your time has not yet come. The voice said, you have been given another chance. Amina opened her eyes to find herself back in her childhood home, 10 years in the past. She was young again, full of life and energy and healthy. Her parents, whom she had dearly missed, were alive. Mother, father, Amina cried, embraced them. Amina, what is it? Her mother asked, concerned. It's nothing, Amina replied, smiling through her tears. I am just so happy to see you. Realizing that she had been given a rare opportunity, Amina vowed to change her fate. She would not marry Kofi and she would protect herself and family from betrayal. Amina decided to keep her knowledge of the future a secret. She resumed her daily life, but with a new purpose. She knew that Kofi and Zuri would eventually cross her path, and she had to be ready. At the village market, she met her childhood friend, Jabari, who had always been kind to her. Jabari worked as a blacksmith, and his hands were always busy, creating beautiful pieces of art. Jabari, Amina said one day, can we talk? Of course, Jabari replied, noticing the seriousness in her voice. Amina told him everything, her illness, Kofi's betrayal, and the second chance she had been given. Jabari listened intently, his face growing more determined with every word. We must be careful, Jabari said. You mean you married Kofi? Yes, I did, Amina replied. Kofi is dangerous, and we need to find a way to expose him and to protect you. Together, they devised a plan. Amina would pretend to still be interested in Kofi while secretly gathering evidence of his deceit. Jabari would be her confidant and protector, always by her side. The next day, Amina decided to visit Kofi. Amina, heart pounded as she approached Kofi's hut. She knocked and he opened the door, surprised to see her. Amina, what a pleasant surprise, Kofi said, hiding his unease. Kofi, I've been thinking, Amina began, forcing a smile. I think we should get to know each other better. Kofi, believing he had won, agreed eagerly. He had no idea that Amina was now 2 steps ahead of him. One day, as Amina was visiting Kofi, She heard noises coming from inside Kofi's hut. She tiptoed closer without making any noise, putting her ears close to the windows. Amina had finally agreed to marry Missouri. Kofi said, I think it's time for the parents to be out of the picture. How do we do that? Zuri's voice reaches Amina's ear. It is simple, Kofi replied. I'll do it tonight. We will set it on fire while they are asleep. How about Amina? Won't she also be inside the hut? Zuri asked. She won't be. Kofi replied. I told her to visit Nana Ama, the healer, in preparation for our marriage. She would come home to a burnt hut. Kofi laughed wickedly. Fear seized Amina as she silently sneaked away from the hut. So, Kofi and Zuri killed her parents, and it was about to happen again. She must act fast to prevent it. She raced to Jabari's hut and knocked loudly. Jabari came out, seeing Amina worried expression. He asked, What is wrong? Jabari, we must hurry, Amina replied hurriedly. Kofi is on his way to kill my parents. I heard him and Zuri talking about it. Follow me now, she continues, as she raced towards her parents' hut. On reaching there, she rushed inside, waking her parents up. She rushed them towards the dark forest and told them to wait there, that she would answer any questions when she returned. She returned back to the hut, and she and Jabari bundled straws and placed it on the mat bed, covering it up so it would look like a human, one for each parent. Returning to meet her parents inside the forest, she told them that their lives were in danger and that they would follow Jabari to a distant village for shelter until the time to reveal and punish the real culprit arrived. She promised to visit them soonest. After they had gone, she waited in the darkness. As she saw Kofi creeping towards her parents' hut, he looked inside through the window, making sure they were inside, and set it all on fire. Then quietly crept away. She watched as the hut raised to the ground. Then she came out of the darkness and screamed, playing her part. The villagers soon gathered, with Kofi rushing to meet her, consoling her. Tears streamed down Amina's face as she screamed, playing her part. Unbeknownst to them, her tears was of that of victory and a wrath which both of them would soon feel. Over the next few weeks, Amina played the part of a naive, loving woman. She watched as Kofi and Zuri continued their secret meetings, each time making sure to document their actions. Jabari, meanwhile, worked on gathering the village elders and trusted friends who could help expose the treasury when the sun was setting over the village of Kokowa, casting a golden shine across the central square where the community had gathered. The air was thick with anticipation. Amina, her heart pounding, stood on a wooden stage. She glanced at Jabari, who gave her an encouraging nod. Today was the day they would expose Kofi and Zuri's treachery. The villagers, dressed in their colorful traditional attire, were murmuring among themselves. Curious about the sudden gathering, the village elders, including the wise Nana Amma, sat at the front, their expressions serious. Amina took a deep breath and stepped forward. Friends, family, she began, her voice steady. I have called you here today because there are truths that need to be revealed. Truths about betrayal and attempted murder. The crowd gasped, and a hush fell over them. Kofi and Zuri, standing near the back, exchanged nervous glances but tried to maintain their composure. Some time ago, I discovered that my husband-to-be Kofi and my best friend Zuri were having an affair behind my back. Amina continued, but their betrayal goes much deeper than that. Amina turned to the side of the stage. I would like to bring forth two important witnesses. The villagers turned to see an elderly couple stepping forward. Their faces familiar yet unexpected. It was Amina's parents, whom everyone believed to be dead. Kofi and Zuri's face turned pale, their eyes wide with shock and fear. No, this can't be, Kofi muttered, his voice trembling. My parents were supposed to have died in a tragic hot fire, Amina said, her voice growing steady and stronger. But they didn't. They survived thanks to Jabari's help. And they have been recuperating in a faraway land. Amina's mother, her voice steady despite her age, spoke up. We were attacked by Kofi and Zuri. They tried to kill us to get our wealth. They set our hut on fire and left us for dead. Amina held up the ledger, filled with detailed accounts of Kofi's deceitful dealings. This ledger provides evidence of Kofi's financial manipulations. He and Zuri conspired to kill my parents for their wealth and then to betray me. Kofi stepped forward, desperation in his eyes. This is all lies. You have no proof. But Amina was prepared. She turned to Jabari, who stepped forward confidently. I was there, Jabari said, his voice clear and unwavering. I saw Kofi and Zuri set the hut on fire. I helped save Amina's parents and took them to safety. The crowd erupted in shocked murmurs. The village elders conferred quietly, their expression grave. Nana Ama stood up, raising her hand for silence. Kofi, Zuri, the evidence against you is overwhelming. You have brought shame and dishonor to our community. Your actions are unforgivable. Kofi and Zuri fell to their knees, pleading, Please, have mercy, Zuri cried. We were desperate, but the others were unmoved. Your desperation does not excuse your crimes. Another elder says sternly, you tried to kill for wealth and betray the trust of your community. Nana Ama continued, the punishment for your crimes will be severe. You have a choice, death or banishment. The crowd was silent, the weight of the decision hanging heavy in the air. Kofi and Zuri looked at each other, their faces paled and filled with fear. Take them away, the elders say. Amina felt a sense of relief wash over her as she watched the guard lead Kofi and Zuri away. Justice has finally been served. The villagers began to disperse, their conversation filled with the events of the day. Amina turned to Jabari, gratitude and admiration in her eyes. Thank you, Jabari, she said. her voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done this without you." Jabari smiled, taking her hand. "We did this together, Amina. You were brave and strong." As the sun set, casting long shadows over the village of Kokowa, Amina and Jabari stood side by side, knowing that a new chapter of their lives were about to begin. The village of Kokowa had witnessed the power of truth and justice, and Amina's journey from betrayal to triumph had become a beacon of hope for all.